Hey there everyone, this is Joe from Bullion Now, bullionnow.com.au with your weekly precious metals technical analysis, taking a look at the big four: gold, silver, platinum and palladium. Of course, the website bullionnow.com.au. Give us a phone call Australia-wide, send us an email from anywhere around the world. Come into the store if you are local, selling you the best bullion bars and coins shipped to you worldwide from Melbourne, Australia. You know what to do here. Hit the big red subscribe button. 277 subscribers right now. Weekly auctions, epic unboxings, Michael mini rants right there, lots of other reasons, and of course these wonderful technical analysis videos, and Instagram.com/bullionnow for specials and sort of the rarer stuff as well, and just because it's nice to see photos of lovely shiny things. Okay, gold, let's start with that. What an interesting time we are in at the moment with the metals. We've seen a decent rise. Now this is on the 4-hour time frame. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So overnight, this is Australian time. Overnight, we've seen a rise from was it under? Let's go back a day. Maybe that's the easiest way to do it. Yes, we were hovering around. Last night we were still within this pattern right here. You can see that, right? We're still within that last night, so we hadn't broken out of this sort of pendant formation. If we track back 7 days, because that's what we generally try to do, that's generally what we do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're talking about the double top, weren't we? So last Thursday, we were talking about is this a potential double top, and what would it need to do in order for it to be confirmed a double top. That's where you come up to a price, come back down, come up to roughly the same price, back down, and if it was a double top, it would need to break this level right here, and then you would see very likely, very likely, a move to the downside. Now that is absolutely, in my opinion, well, the double top's broken. Whether at a triple top, yeah, it's much more rare. I don't think it's likely personally, but you never know. I'm not a soothsayer. I'm not a fortune teller. But we're definitely out of the double top pattern. So in my opinion, the reason for the jump in the price from around here to here, I think it's because this was a failed move. So it was a failed double top attempt to break down further, and the buyers became in control of the market, and we saw a fast move to the opposite direction. So oftentimes from a failed move comes a fast move in the opposite direction. That's why apparently also I'm reading, if you have a look down here as well, gold capitalizes on dovish Fed expectations. So must be something to do possibly with a Fed announcement, something like that. But I haven't checked, so maybe someone can pop in a comment underneath and let me know that. But I just think failed move, fast move to the upside in gold, currently hovering at about 1424, 1425 right here. And this is the tradingview.com website. And of course, we're priced in US dollars. So what does this mean from here? If we punch out to the weekly, it's looking to me really nice. So let me get rid of that and that one. As I said before, triple tops are quite unusual. It doesn't mean they don't happen, but if I was a betting man, and I'm going to give a bias to the upside in this particular video, so a 51% chance. You know I like to skirt the fence there. I like to ride the fence, but look at the weekly. That's looking quite positive to me. Come up, back down, and then looks like we're really trying to punch. We're knocking on that door of breaking this interim high here of about 1440. I think we're on the way. That's my opinion, obviously not financial advice, but look at that. Looks pretty solid to me. So 51% chance that we are going to see higher prices from here. And where are the next two levels? Of course, I've been talking about the $1,500 level right here, only because it's a psychological value. Not because of a technical reason, just purely psychological right here. So if we're talking technical, then it would be the move up to approximately, you can see, right, some areas of support right here at approximately between 1525 and 1530. So if, again, my opinion, if we come up here, if we are moving higher, $1,500 is a psychological, but if that's just not in play, then definitely to here would be the next level of resistance at about 1525, 1530. That's pretty much it for gold. It's looking a little oversold on the weekly time frame, a little overbought, not oversold, overbought. It's in overbought territory on the RSI, the Relative Strength Index, but as you can see, it doesn't always just hit it and then come straight back down. It can sometimes spend a bit of time up in this overbought territory. So I think we've still got a little room to move up, and I've just given you those targets. If we're moving down, well, you can see these targets here. If you like, you can just pause, and you can see these horizontal lines, so like this one here, for example, would be the next one, I think, at about 1375, because you've got that big level of previous resistance right there between sort of 1370, 1375. But again, 51% chance that we are moving higher from here. That is gold. Let's take a look at silver, my favorite metal of all time right here. We are also in a slight... we've had a slight rise in the price. This is on the weekly. Let's pop into the daily, see where we were 7 days ago. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, okay, so we were at about, we're around about the same price. Big dip in the last week, down to under $15, but a very quick move back up, telling me that the buyers are in control at the moment. Have yet to break on the daily time frame the 18 average of highs, so that's something you'd want to keep in mind. We want to see a clear break above that before we go definitely moving higher. If we are moving higher from here, let's take a look at the weekly. And I've talked about these levels a couple of times before, but you've got 1580 roughly, and then you've got obviously this big one right here. That's going to be your main one. And I think if we were to break right here, I think coming up to here is not high enough before we see another retracement. I would think we would need to come all the way back up to this $16 level. Let's say around about $16. Technically it's what, $16.20, but let's call it $16, you know, a little bit of a psychological value right there. So I think if we're moving higher from here, I'm going to give it a 51% chance, just like gold. We're going to be moving up to approximately between $15.80 to $16. That's in US dollar terms. Again, on the weekly, we're just getting into overbought territory on the Relative Strength Index, so definitely got room to sort of hover in that area for a while, so we could see higher prices from here. Moving down further, I've given you these targets a million times before, but let's just quickly say, let's look approximately around about here of your $14 level, and coming up against this trend line right here. Just depends when it hits, so it all depends. So if it was to do it within the next week, then you'd be looking at approximately $13, but if it does it in the next, say, month or so, then you're looking at more like $12.50. But the next Fibonacci level, the next big one, is right here at approximately $12.20. But for me personally, a 51% bias to the upside as of right now. Okay, going to platinum. So all the metals have had a decent little bit of a pop in their price, and you can see here on the weekly time frame we're actually just come out of oversold territory, so definitely a lot of room to move higher. And let's go to the daily and check where we were 7 days ago. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, we were all the way up here, a little bit higher than where we were, than where we are right now. We saw that move up to that level that I told you about, a spike down to 805, but a quick move back again. On the daily as well, same as silver, not punching through yet the 18 average of highs. Right here we do want to see a clear break above that. The next move, if we are going down again, we're going to be hitting this trend line right here, which is this pendant, this symmetrical triangle pattern. Still within that range very much so, and I've talked about it a few times before. We would blast through here. If we came up to here, I think we would blast through 1850, and the next one would be, you know, on the sort of weekly time frame. Let's pop into the weekly, maybe that's a little better. On the weekly, the next move up would be here at $875 US. That is platinum, looking looking, in my opinion, looking 51% chance of higher prices within the sort of the weekly time frame. And onto Palladium. Look at this sucker. This has just been on a tear. We're almost reaching its all-time high. There does seem to be a little bit of chance of a room to move down before we break through, but it's looking really, really good. Let's have a look on the daily, because what you'll notice here, after we came down to that low of, where are we, at that 1270 mark, a very nice steep and steady rise, couple of retracements. Now the key one here is that we were knocking on the door right here at about 1575, and then we made a play to go lower. As you can see, it did break through the 18 average of highs. It was making a play to hit the 18 average of lows, but no, it was a failed move. And what happens oftentimes, not all the time, but oftentimes from a failed move comes a fast move in the opposite direction. If we punch in to, say, the 4 hour, actually let's even go even closer, say the 2 hour. Yeah, you can see what you can see here is that if I can punch out, what's that number? Oh, there we go. You can see it on this side. What am I doing? I'd put in a couple of numbers here previously, a couple of lines. That was at 1560. We clearly broke through that. And then we clearly broke through this previous number I was talking about at about 1580. And we broke up and we came back down to visit it. And now we're breaking back up. So it's looking positive for me again. I'll give that a 51% chance of higher prices from here. And obviously the next major high is going to be breaking, or is at least testing, the previous high of about 1615. Pop out onto the monthly. And now the question we have to ask, because it has to be asked, I guess, could this be a double top in platinum? Well, we don't know. It could. What we would need to see is a not a clear break of 1615, and then a retracement of probably at least back down to, you're looking at around about 1540, 1530, in order to suggest, possibly could we head down further, and is this a double top? But 51% chance at higher prices for me. That's my personal opinion, not financial advice. And moving up from here, what are we looking at? I think, what was that level I've got there? Oh, right there, of the psychological value. Well, let's talk about the 1.618 first. You've got the Fibonacci levels calculated from this high of 1100 roughly, and this low of about 140. And you've got the 1.618, and that's hovering right here at about 1697. I guess you could call it 1700 as a psychological value. But if we are moving higher from here, I don't think we would just come up to 1700 before we see a major retracement. It's not a large enough of a rise in order to warrant the sellers taking profits. So I think definitely the next move would be, I shouldn't say definitely, should I? I think the next move, in my personal opinion, not financial advice, is if we break through 1615 and we continue up through this Fibonacci level of 1700, my next level is the psychological value of 2,000. Why? Because it's never hit $2,000 before. And so because it's never hit $2,000 before, that's going to be, in my opinion, a definite psychological value. So you may see a bit of a decent bit of selling action at around your 2,000 level. Obviously, most traders put in sell orders before that time frame. So you're looking at maybe like 1985, 1990, something like that. Is where you would see some selling action, because definitely a psychological value there, in my opinion. If for some reason it is not a psychological value and we don't see a decent retracement from there, technically the next Fibonacci level, again calculated from here and here, is at 2,650 roughly. I think that's a bit of a stretch to get all the way up to there before a major retracement. So I'm going to call it around about 2,000. That's my opinion, of course. Again, not financial advice. Subscribe to the channel. You know what to do. I don't know why you're not. I don't know why. So you should just be, rather than having to search us every time, etc. Just join the family. Hit the big red subscribe button right there. Join us on Instagram. It's really cool just to see shiny stuff every now and then. And we do post, as I said before, rarer stuff that we don't usually on sale straight to the public through over-the-counter sales, particularly the stuff that comes in like these awesome Deke International bars and the Engelhard 1 ounce cast bars. We still have one of those in stock actually if you want one. Just check that post to see what the price is. And of course, bookmark the website bullionnow.com.au. Wow! And that is perfect timing. That means I am going to serve a customer and they are going to be completely satisfied after I have served them. So thanks for watching, gang. Stay safe and we will speak to you soon.